Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of FPL Yathu. You're with me, your boy, Sunday, and this is like our fourth episode of FPL. We didn't have an episode last week because we're going into the international break, so I knew most people like their minds were off, But then now the international break week is over, and this weekend the Premier League is back. So let's dive in deep to what happened in the international break, how the results of last game week went. We'll look at the best player last game week, and also, despite that, we're also going to look at the upcoming fixtures this game week. In this game week, I think we're going into game week 4. Yeah, we're going to look at the fixtures in game week 4, and don't forget we have the Manchester United and Manchester City derby this game week, this Sunday. So, guys, FPL is about to get interesting, and let's remember that Alexandra Isak's move has been done. So the deal's done, and now it's going to be a dilemma for guys because man, Liverpool has some great players. Looking at Ekitike, Mohamed Salah, the legend, and the new addition Isak have Gakpo. I mean, it's going to be a dilemma for guys to on who to pick. So right now we're going to dive in deep to we're going to start looking at the results of last game week. So stay with me and let's go. All right, so to begin with the last week matches, the first game we had was not the first game. I won't go in order. I'll just go like in an order of like interesting matches, that happened last week. Man City lost 2-1 to Brighton. I think this time around, Man City isn't doing well. I don't know why. Maybe because KDP isn't around. Because we look at Haaland's performance has like, gone down. He's not scoring. He's not becoming, that guy anymore. Because when you look at his pricing, you look at what he's doing. Of course, he delivered last game, but then I think Haaland is tricky for now. And I mean, you can still have. Don't sell him yet, but you can still have him. But having Haaland right now is very tricky, guys. And despite Haaland, we can go to like other assets of Man City. We can go like to Ait Nouri. Ait Nouri was good in the first match, but then I don't know. Let's just give him time. If you have Ait Nouri, I can advise you to bench him in the next game because they're going against Manchester United, or you can sell him and get another like defender who's going to give you those good contributions. We have the likes of I can just mention Cucurella. Cucurella is really playing well. He's defending, he's keeping clean sheets, and he's also providing assists or sometimes scoring. So I mean, Man City assets right now, I don't know. Ryan Cherki was good, but then he was good in the first match, but then now I'm not sure if we can rely on him. Talking about Omar Mamush is injured, so it's really hard to pick on Man City assets. Looking at Brighton assets, Mitoma looks fresh, because he scored right. He scored like, I mean, he didn't score, but then he gave a big impact in the previous game against Man City. So, Mitoma, once he grabs track, he becomes that player that you must have in fantasy. Despite that, we can also look at Ruta. Ruta is also like playing good for Brighton, Looking at their midfield, they have Carlos Baleba. Carlos Baleba is going to give you those defensive contributions. And let me tell you one thing about defensive contributions. If your midfielder has nice defensive contributions, keeps a clean sheet, that's like, I can say maybe guaranteed 6 points. And if he scores, even better. So those are the players you can look at Manchester City or Brighton. And we also had the Manchester United game versus Burnley. Manchester United won that game 3-2. They struggled to win the game because Burnley actually came from behind to equalize, but then likely Manu scored in the last minute. Looking at Manu, I can say we can get Bruno Fernandes, Mbeumo. These two guys are like the guys I think would are certified to give you points. You can also go for Mount, but then I think Mount has something that's following him, because I mean his performances are like up and down, and Amorim said that he was playing with an injury. Despite that, know that Manchester United is playing against Man City this weekend. So when you're buying the Manchester United assets, just look at that fixture too. And despite that, Burnley lost last week. But then Burnley are a good side. They're playing really beautiful football. You can check out the team players. Because I don't have the team players and I'm not really familiar with the guys. But then we are going to touch on Burnley in the next episode, and this is something that I'm going to pinpoint so that we look at the players. Because from the teams that have been promoted, Burnley and Sunderland are really playing good. So I think we should look at these two teams deeply in our next episode. Liverpool won against Arsenal, and let's go by Sports Live. I won't touch much on these two teams because you guys already have assets from these teams. So what I can advise is like keep the assets you have from these teams, and yeah, like this team, it's guaranteed points. We had the Palace against Aston Villa. Aston Villa still having a slow start. I advise you guys not to buy any Aston Villa player yet, because Oli Watkins looks lost. Many players from Aston Villa don't know what they're doing. Konsa was given a red card. I don't know if he's coming back this game week. If it wasn't like a 3-match ban, but I don't know much about Konsa if he's coming back. So Aston Villa, don't buy players there. Whilst for Palace, you can get Sarr, you can get Mateta, you can get Gay, you can get Munoz, because Palace is really like performing really well since the end of last season. Going into this season, they've been on point. They haven't lost any match. So Palace is one team you can look at getting players. Whilst Aston Villa, don't touch Aston Villa. Even Morgan Rogers isn't performing. So you should look at it and ask yourself that is everything alright in this team, or else you might just be keeping players who don't give you points on bench. And now let's look at Spurs and Bournemouth. Spurs lost at home versus Bournemouth. Surprisingly, I didn't even know what happened to Spurs, because Spurs started really well and then they lose to Bournemouth at home. It was something tricky, because I expected Kudus, Richarlison. Those guys have like, they even have Javish Simmons, guys. They have like good signings. So I don't know. Maybe don't sell your Spurs players yet. Keep them for this coming weekend, because they're going against West Ham. So you know how West Ham is shaky. So those are like guaranteed goals or maybe points if Spurs decide like to turn up. But then Spurs always tricky. That's good, but then the way they finish. Okay, so we had Sunderland. They beat Brentford 3-1. Brentford right now isn't in its best shape, because they lost their two best players. They lost Wisa, they lost Mbeumo, they also lost Norgard. So those guys aren't good. So right now, I wouldn't advise anyone to touch a Brentford player. Maybe Shade, but then don't touch a Brentford player. Now, Sunderland, you can look at Sunderland players, but then who's this Ballard? Ballard went out injured, I think in Gameweek 2. So I don't know if he's back, but then that was the asset that like I really looked at getting from Sunderland. The other guys, you can check them out. I didn't touch much on Sunderland. Everton won against Wolves 3-2. It was a tight match, but then the new man, Jack Grealish, scored. KDB also was on the score sheet. But for Everton, I advise you guys to look at Jack Grealish and these two guys, certified points, good prices. I think they are below 7.0, if not 8.0, but then good points, good prices, and these player picks will give you nice points. I guarantee that these guys will give you nice points, good points. But look at the Everton assets specifically. Looking at Ndiaye, looking at Jack Grealish, even Beto. Beto has like a good supply system. Looking at Jack Grealish, looking at KDB, looking at Ndiaye. So Beto is one guy that I'm sure that this guy is a certified goal scorer. And then we had the match against Newcastle and Leeds. Newcastle and Leeds drew 0-0. I mean, Newcastle is a team that you can look at if you want a team that has a good defense. Newcastle is one because they really have like a nice defense. And looking at their attack, they've got new players. Yeah. Newcastle's got new players. They have Javi Simons. They have a new striker. Not sure what his name is. They have Elanga. Newcastle has good players, Harvey Barnes, and the way they played against Liverpool, it told me that told me that Newcastle still has that spark. They just need that striker, and now they've got that striker. So I think Newcastle is a team that we must look at from Gameweek 4 going onwards, because Newcastle guys, they're nice players. We talk about Barnes, we talk about Elanga, we talk about Wisa is there now too. We talk about Trippier, we talk about Nick Pope, we talk about Luis Ho, a good differential. We talk about Dino Livramento, a good differential. We talk about Bruno Guimaraes, a good defensive midfielder who's sure to give you those CBIT, clearances, blocks, tackles, interceptions. He's going to give you that thing. So it's a certified maybe 5 points above for Bruno Guimaraes. That's if he doesn't score. So those are the matches about last week. And then now I just want us to look at some best players in the previous game week. Jack Grealish will be my best player. Reason being, Jack Grealish has been that guy whereby his performance has been consistent. Ever since he started delivering assists and goals, he's been magnificent. And it's so funny how like many people don't have Jack Grealish. He's a guy to get. He's a must-have. You guys should get Jack Grealish. That's my advice. Get Jack Grealish, and trust me guys, your team is going to do like it's going to do many wonders, because I mean Jack Grealish, we all know, we've all seen his performance, we've all seen how he's been playing, and his mentality, it's been good. So yeah, I advise you guys to get Jack Grealish. Besides getting Jack Grealish too, just touch on an Everton, good player, get Ndiaye. His performance has been really good. I can't sugarcoat anything, but then you guys know that since last season, Ndiaye was good. So I advise you guys to get Moses, to get Ndiaye. Despite that, I know last week we didn't have like many goals, many good player performances and whatnot, but there's this Chelsea asset, João Pedro. Even though I didn't touch the Chelsea and Fulham game, right? But then João Pedro, guys, is an asset to get. The guy has been scoring in every game, he's been delivering in every game. So you can even captain João Pedro. I mean, looking at Palmer and Pedro now, I think I would get João Pedro and sell Palmer, even though they say he's like back from injury. But then Chelsea now, it's really hard like to rely on the Chelsea midfield, because it's always changing. And with the incident we had from Palmer, I'm not sure. But then João Pedro is a guy you should get. And also Enzo Fernandez. Last week, the guy was magnificent. I think he gave an assist plus he scored a penalty. And if Palmer is not there, we're sure that Enzo Fernandez will be the one taking penalties. So Enzo Fernandez too, good performing player last week. So I urge you guys to get that guy. Cucurella too. Cucurella has kept 2 clean sheets here. He's kept 2 clean sheets. He's assisted, and for a FPL asset, Cucurella is also good. That Chelsea defense, you look at Chalobah, yeah, you can capitalize on those guys. So those are the best players that I saw last week, and also differential players that have been, I mean, differentials that you can pick, and also like players that performed well in the international break, even though it's tricky because some countries play against weaker countries. But the first player is Erling Haaland, 5 goals and 2 assists in one match. Guys, get Erling Haaland. Even though his team isn't performing good, but then Erling Haaland, guys, is a must-have. Despite Erling Haaland, Noni Madueke, I mean, Saka is injured now, and you saw that England performance. I mean, that guy, I think, he's trying to prove something. I don't know. Sometimes he plays good, sometimes he plays bad, but then on his good day, Madueke is that prime. Is that prime? I can say prime who? Prime Iron Robin, because he's always weaving through the guys. So Madueke is a player that you guys should get because he's been very good. And there's also who's this Mikel Moreno, Michael Merino for Arsenal. This Michael Merino guy is also, he performed well during the international break. I don't know if he'll have space in the Arsenal team, but then I'm sure the guy has been playing like a striker, guys. He scored a hat trick. You know, he scored more goals than than the Spanish striker in that game. He's behaving like the striker. So Michael Merino is also another differential that you guys should look at. Another differential that performed well in the international break. We also had Reece James, a good assist. Yeah. We also had Declan Rice, who was on top. Uh, yeah, so I mean, those are a few players that I like checked out during this international break. I know there are many players. You guys can suggest more players in like the comment section, so that other viewers who like wants something different from me, um, you can help them. But then, yeah, those are on the differentials and the best players and the guys who performed well in what international break. So, um, this week we have no guests, so it's going to be really short. And now I want to wrap it up with the fixtures of this coming game week. So yeah, we're like wrapping it up right now. We're going to the end of our program. So starting with Arsenal and Forest, we have this fixture, this game week. This is our first fixture on the weekend. I don't know if the curse is going to happen, but then we already know that Forest has sacked their coach. Nuno Espirito is out. I feel for that guy. I mean, he helped that team, and those guys, they're going to regret doing that. Trust me. So Arsenal versus Forest. I think it's a straight win, a clear win for Arsenal in this game. Moving on, and I think Victor Gyökeres too is going to perform because last game he got bantered Kwambili by other fans. How he touched his hair more times than he touched the ball. So yeah, we have Bournemouth and Brighton. Um, it's a tricky match, but then I think all teams are like even right now. They're on like a good page because Bournemouth beat Spurs, Brighton beat Man City, two big teams. So I think it's going to be either a draw or a slight 1-0 win for both sides. We have Palace versus Sunderland. Get Sa from Crystal Palace, or get Munoz from Crystal Palace, or get a Crystal Palace asset, because this game I believe Palace is going to win and they're going to score goals. We have Everton versus Aston Villa. Kind of like a straightforward match for me, because Everton, with the way Aston Villa is playing, if they're really playing trash, Everton is playing good. So I think Everton are going to win this game against Aston Villa. So get those Everton assets, guys. Fulham versus Leeds. Fulham are coming from a 2-0 draw, and I mean a 2-0 loss, and Leeds are coming from a 0-0 draw against Newcastle. And the fact that Fulham is home, I think Fulham will try to win this match, even though it's a London derby. But for me, I think I'll give it to Fulham. 2-1 win against Leeds. We have Newcastle versus Wolves. Newcastle is really performing well. Newcastle is really performing well. They're performing really good this season. So I really think that Newcastle is going to win this match because Wolves' performance has dropped. They sold their best player. I think Semedo is also gone because Aït-Nouri is also gone. One of the best left backs. One of the not one of, but then their best left back is gone. So I really think Wolves is going to struggle this season. That's why I'm giving that much to Newcastle. And they have new signings, so I think the new signings will want to perform. While the West Ham versus Spurs game, this game, I think I'm going to give it to Spurs. I don't know. It's a London derby, but then I think Spurs might just go get the points at what London Stadium, because we all know that West Ham isn't performing really good. So I think they only have one win going into the season, only one win. So I think they're going to lose. And then we have the Brentford versus Chelsea game. This is my team, and I think Chelsea is going to win. I think with like 3 goals or 4 goals. Because the way I'm looking at Brentford isn't playing good. So I really think Chelsea is going to win this match. 4 goals or 3 goals. Yeah, and we have Burnley versus Liverpool, an easy match for Liverpool. Liverpool have now signed Alexander Isak, so you already know that their attacking power is very strong. I think they have the strongest attacking power by the addition of Isak, even though the strongest attack in the Premier League now is number one, it's Chelsea, number two is Manchester United, which is tricky. But then I think with the signing of Isak, Liverpool might just be in the top two or maybe in the top one. So for this match, Burnley against Liverpool, I think it's going to be a 5-0 game, because I think Liverpool are going to score goals for fun. And the last match, this one I'll touch a little bit more. Man City versus Man United. This match has always been a tough match, because it's one of like the biggest rivalries in English teams. One of the biggest rivalries for English teams, and one of the biggest city rivalries. Because Manchester United and Manchester City are from one area, so it's like going to be like a really, 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 really tough match. Because we look at Bruno Fernandes is performing well, even though he missed the penalty. But then Bruno Fernandes is a top class player who gives it all. So never write Bruno Fernandes out. Besides Bruno Fernandes, we can look at Buemo. Buemo has been good since day one, even though he hasn't scored as many goals. But then I think that guy has a higher GA. And you guys should get Buemo. If you don't have Buemo, guys, I don't know what you're doing. But get Buemo for that match. Mason Mount, I'm not sure if Mason Mount will play that game, because last game he played with an injury. I don't know if he's been in training or... But then get Mason Mount, okay? For that game, get Mason Mount. And we can also look at guys like Amad Diallo. Amad Diallo has maintained that consistency of last season, even though he's dropped a little bit. But then, at the beginning of the league, many things happen. People are still trying to like get into that league mood. So Diallo is one person you should look at. Maguire too. Maguire sometimes behaves like a striker, So I think he's just that one player you can keep on bench. I mean, depending on his price now, but you can keep on the bench and then say, yeah, I'll look at this guy sometime. Maybe when Manu has like an easy fixture, you can get him in. And now looking at Man City, Haaland has been on fire. 5 goals, 2 assists in his last game. Haaland is a must-have going into this game. Despite that, Phil Foden is a must-have. Ryan Cherki is a must-have. Doku is also a must-have. Why am I saying this? Manu is a team that likes playing they're playing attacking football nowadays, which is leaving the back vulnerable. If you watch the Burnley game, those guys would weave through the Manu defense easily because they're pushing too much. So in this game, despite mentioning the players, I've said Aït-Nouri, Givardi. I don't know if Givardi is back. I'm not sure. You can tell me in the comment section. But then looking at this fixture, Manu versus Man City, I think it's going to either be a 3-2 win for Man City or a draw. Because I can't say Manchester United is going to win given their performances this season. But I really think Manu has a chance to win. but they're definitely going to score. So that was all for this week on FPL Yathu. This week we had no guests. It was just me, your boys, Oriti Sunday. I was just sharing a few tips, you know. And despite that, next week we're going to have a guest on our show. I'm not really sure who the guest is going to be, but then this time it's going to. I'm trying to like find a guy who supports a different team, like a Spurs guy, you know, something like that. Or maybe we're going to get the guy who is first place in our group. And yeah, before I wrap it up, I just want you guys to check out the table in our group. The guy who's leading is Chawa. Chawa is number one. And yes, today I'm going to post the whole table from number one to the last person. So yeah, that's the table for FPL Yathu league. If you want to join, I already told you can easily DM me. Once you DM me, I'll add you in the WhatsApp group. I'll add you in the main league, and then all you have to do is follow our TikTok page and our YouTube page, and you'll be eligible to win 100,000 Malawi kwacha for first place, and 25,000 Malawi kwacha for second place, and first place too also gets what? A free jersey on top of that 100,000 kwacha Malawi kwacha. So I mean, it's going to be a dope league. It's already turning out to be a dope league. People already have rivals in the group. People already bantering each other, saying or trash things about another person's team. I mean, so yeah, that's that. Thank you for being with me on another episode of FPL Yathu. Don't forget to share, like, and subscribe to all our pages. And if you want to join, you can just use the ways that I've told you. You're with me, your boys, Waiting Sunday from FPL Yathu. See you next time.